So a little under a year ago, Herpa introduced the first A330neo in the TAP Air Portugal livery. According to the article number, this however isn't the second version, but is it any different from the first one, or is it just the same with an extra sticker slapped on? With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A330-900NEO of TAP Air Portugal. At the front of the box we have the cutout, so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the TAP Air Portugal branding and the 100th logo. The back side of the box is unfortunately another cutout, which I'm really not a fan of, so the only thing of interest here is really that it specifies that this model is a limited edition. And here she is, the Airbus A330-900NEO of TAP Air Portugal in kind of that current livery. I mean, technically the aircraft does fly around like this today, but after the aircraft was delivered, the airline slightly adapted the livery, so actually on more recent painted aircraft it would say TAP Air Portugal, both on the vertical stabilizer as well as on the fuselage. Now, with no further ado, let's take a closer look at the aircraft and let us see if it has any differences to the last TAP A330-900NEO we got from Herpa. We start off with the details section, where we have the TAP Air Portugal branding on the vertical stabilizer. On the fuselage we then have the 100th aircraft sticker, the flytop.com web address, the full registration code of the aircraft, and the Portuguese flag. On the top of the fuselage we then have the addition of this little set dome. However, this is a detail that has been slightly reworked, as the set dome is noticeably smaller than in the last A330neo of TAP Air Portugal from Herpa Wings. And then at the very tail of the aircraft we also have a little bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. And now moving on to the front of the aircraft, we find across the fuselage the TAP Portugal branding. Of course, if the aircraft had been painted in real life a little bit later, this would be branded as TAP Air Portugal, but the aircraft does, as far as I know, still fly around just like you see it here. Then we also have a Star Alliance logo, of which TAP Air Portugal is a member, and underneath the cockpit windows we have the name of the aircraft, a detail that they actually forgot with the last version. But before we take a look at the cockpit section itself, let's quickly move on top of the fuselage, where we have the addition of another little sat dome. Now this is kind of a new addition, as it's the first time we get this as a physical detail with the A330neo in the TAP livery, as with the last version we only had this as a printed detail. The cockpit section itself is a little bit bare in my opinion, but we do of course have the very recognizable black coloring around the windows, just as with the A350. And although this black marking around the windows looks rather nice, it also makes it increasingly difficult to determine whether Herpa Wings actually has printed on the window wipers. I just couldn't make it out for this one, so you have to take a look yourself and determine if they are there or not. Now, the engine nacelles have been kept in all white and have this lovely silver leading edge. Overall, I think they are rather decently detailed. Of course, the highlight is just the new engine type on the A330neo, these massive new engines. I think they look really nice, and if we look into the engines from the front, we can see the engine fan blades very nicely. If we then also take a quick look at the wings, we can see here on the top side we have the different flap slats and spoilers carved out very nicely. We also have some different shades of grey for additional detailing, but no markings whatsoever, just like with the last A330neo in the TAP livery. And also if we look at the underside of the wings, I think that looks rather decent, where we also have the full registration code of the aircraft once again. But for me the highlight are the nicely curved winglets, where we then also have the TAP branding or the TAP colors printed on. So the wings are pretty much unchanged. What is also pretty much unchanged as from the last A330neo from Herpa Wings in the TAP livery is the landing gear. That's also pretty much identical, but that's not a bad thing in this case, because I think the landing gear is actually overall rather nice. The only thing I'm missing here is with the front landing gear, a few markings that I just desperately would like to have. And then last but not least, we also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here on the back side of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A330-900NEO in the somewhat current livery of Air TAP Portugal with the 100th aircraft sticker. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, we had to look rather closely to find any real differences between this model and the last model from Herpa Wings, but there are of course a few. Most noticeably, it's the physical detail or the physical addition of a second sat dome. So going from a printed detail to a physical detail. That's nice. The print quality overall is great, and also the physical details overall are very good. If you already have the first model, then there might not be a huge need for this one, but if you don't have the first one, then I would definitely go for this one. Or of course, if you are in the situation where you want to build up a realistic TAP Air Portugal fleet, then this is also a great one for one's collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.